I'm Jeff Zarnett, and this is Software Career Growth. Today, I figured let's ask ChatGPT what it thinks about career growth advice in software development. Alright, so today I said why not ask ChatGPT what it thinks about how you can advance your career in software development. And, well, it's had a few suggestions, and some of them I would say are better than others, but let's sort of get started. So the first suggestion is keep learning. I'll quote what ChatGPT said about this. It says, software development is a constantly evolving field, so it's important to stay up to date with the latest technologies, programming languages, and industry best practices. Read books and articles, take online courses, attend conferences and meetups, and participate in online forums and communities to continue learning. My evaluation? Keep learning is the right idea, and it is important to stay up to date with technologies and things like that. But learning every new trendy programming language isn't as important, I would say, as mastery of the ones that you work with. Becoming truly an expert in doing certain problems is more valuable than you can have 50 languages on your resume. So I don't think it's really necessary to constantly chase these things and constantly choose whatever is new. Similarly, there's a lot of process best practices, and they change and they vary from place to place. And some things stick, they become popular, and they become very common. Other things don't. And I think if you just take this advice as it is and you try to participate in every new trend, you just end up spending a lot of time doing things at a very high level or at a very shallow level and not actually getting into the details and not becoming truly an expert or truly becoming a master of the thing in question. As for participating in online forums and communities, your mileage may vary. A lot of them are pretty toxic, all considered, and so I would not generally recommend you spend a lot of time on forums and something like that. Second recommendation, build a portfolio. So it says, to demonstrate your skills and experience, build a portfolio of projects that you've worked on. This can include personal projects, open source contributions, or project from work. Share your portfolio with potential employers and colleagues to showcase your abilities. Again, this advice, I don't know about it. Certainly there are legal questions about whether you can show your projects from work to other people who are not at that same company. So you do have to be pretty mindful of that. But this sort of thing is beneficial if you're looking to make a change in your job. You want to have a good portfolio so when you apply somewhere, if you're interested in moving to a new role at a new company, then having a portfolio that showcases things like personal projects or open source contributions can actually be very helpful. It's less helpful in terms of helping you get where you want to go inside your current company. As I previously mentioned, that's a whole other discussion as to whether you actually have to leave to get promoted, and I don't want to get into that too much right now, but it is a consideration. So yeah, having some side projects and having some open source contributions could be helpful, but I also wouldn't say that they're necessary, right? There's a lot of advice out there that's, everything you do should be contributing to your portfolio. You need to monetize your free time or turn it into something that enhances your CV. But I don't really see it that way. You can be really good at software development without needing it to be your hobby that you do outside of work too. Maybe you want to go skiing. Please enjoy yourself, enjoy your life. It's not necessary that your hobby should also be the same as your work. Third recommendation, find a mentor. It says, having a mentor who has more experience in the field can provide guidance, support, and advice as you navigate your career. Seek out someone who you respect and admire in the industry and ask if they would be willing to mentor you. Okay, this one I actually do endorse. Finding somebody to be your mentor is actually a good recommendation, and it is something that you should do. It is possible to get pretty far without one. It does require a certain level of initiative and a certain willingness to just go with things and figure out later if it was the right direction or the wrong direction. But realistically, you will get better results if you're able to find someone who is willing to mentor you. And that could be somebody who's in your company, or it could be somebody who is outside of the company as well. But ideally, you have some connection or some relationship with them in the first place. I suspect that famous personalities get a lot of people emailing them saying, please mentor me and please teach me the way. But you're probably not going to get a response from them. You're looking for someone who is realistically in your network, who might be willing to have a conversation with you, who might be willing to consider mentoring you, and then you need to pitch the idea and see how they feel about it. Fourth recommendation is network. And what ChatGPT says is you should build your network. You should build a network with other professionals in the industry to help you learn about job opportunities, gain insights, and find mentors. Attend industry events, join online communities, and participate in professional organizations to expand your network. Again, these are beneficial if your intention is to find a new role somewhere else. It's not super beneficial if you're trying to increase your skills, and not super beneficial in terms of like trying to become a master at something. And this advice can work, but it's only a piece of the puzzle, right? Just because you have a good network and lots of people who are currently hiring in that network doesn't mean necessarily that you have the skills and the experience to get where you want to go in one of those open roles. So you do have to be mindful of the fact that you need to have both parts, right? The opportunities will appear, but you have to be ready for them when they appear also. And just spending all your time focusing on networking and building relationships is not enough, because it ignores the piece of the puzzle of working on skills. Last recommendation, I asked ChatGPT for 5. It says, take on new challenges. Seek out opportunities to take on new projects or responsibilities at work, even if they're outside your comfort zone. This can help you grow your skills and demonstrate your value to your employer. Additionally, consider working on side projects or freelancing to gain experience and expand your portfolio. Okay, again, this is a pretty good recommendation with a little asterisk that you don't have to work in your free time if you don't want to. But yes, finding new projects or responsibilities at work that are outside your comfort zone are good ways to advance and grow. And there's a bit more to this in terms of how do you choose what is the correct kind of project to work on, because not every project that is sort of outside of your comfort zone or outside your responsibility is a good one to work on, and not every one of them is necessarily going to help you get to the next level. Sometimes these projects are just not very fun. They're new and they're outside your comfort zone because they're a little bit painful. In any case, I do think this is a good recommendation, and there is something to it. Okay, so having looked at these 5 recommendations, what would I say overall? Overall, I would say that the recommendations were neutral to good. Some of them obviously are better than others, but I wouldn't say there was anything that was bad in this set of recommendations. However, the real problem that I see is how much of it is thoroughly generic, right? Learn things, okay, cool, but what things do I learn? How do I decide what makes sense for me to learn, right? Find a mentor, okay, sounds good, but who would be a good mentor for me? How do I find the right person? And there has to be a match on both sides, right? This has to be someone who is good at mentoring. You have to be open to taking their suggestions. It's a difficult thing. Same thing with taking on new challenges. Yeah, new challenges sound good, but there's more to it than just saying yes to everything that comes your way, because you have to choose carefully, recognizing that you have limited time and limited energy for this sort of thing. And if you do not choose wisely, you waste your time on projects that don't help you out and possibly just make you kind of miserable. So overall, would I say that can you get good advice from ChatGPT? Maybe you get some advice. I went into this not entirely sure what it was going to tell me, and I wondered if it was going to give terrible advice like work 17 hours a day to show your boss how dedicated you are, and like that's not how that works. Like that's you're not sending the right message. But I do think it's interesting that many of the suggestions that it thinks about for how do you get ahead in your career involve going somewhere else. Networking and building your portfolio and what have you are not really about impressing your current employer. They're about going somewhere else. So does AI think that to get promoted you need to quit your job? Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. This was a little bit silly, but I also thought it was kind of fun. Let me know if there are other questions you'd like me to put to ChatGPT and give my evaluation of. That's it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.